What an incredible talk that was from Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie, for putting so much work into researching deuterium. And now I'm sure as a health professional, you recognize the importance of knowing what someone's deuterium levels are, and then more importantly, steps you can take to bring it down. As I'm sure you've now figured out, if you've got high deuterium in the cells, many of the therapies that you're trying to put into place just may not be effective. And that's why I'm so fortunate that I ran into these two delightful individuals, Philippe Goix and Regina Brugh, who have started a company called I Am Well Today. And as they will tell you, this company that they started has an opportunity for you to measure by a simple saliva test the deuterium levels in yourself and your patients and your clients, how you can track it over time, and how you can put together protocols by using some simple drinks, dietary changes to bring down that deuterium. So I'd like to introduce to you Philippe and Regina, and they have a virtual booth here today, and you can talk to them there, and we'll be doing some webinars with them in the future to learn more. So first, help us understand, what is the company I Am Well Today and what it does?
Well, I Am Well is founded on a principle that health is all about mitochondria. We have over 15 trillion cells. Every cell has over thousands of mitochondria. And to be healthy, you have to support your mitochondria. And it turns out that excess of deuterium affect mitochondria function and ATP production. So we got very interested in that research, and we found that there was a need to develop a precise, reliable test with fast turnaround, so you can deliver a deuterium level for a patient through a doctor that would order the test.
That's great. Now tell us how you measure the deuterium. What does the patient or client do, and then how do you measure it?
So we are measuring deuterium in the saliva of the patient. So it requires a kit that you place under your tongue, collect the saliva. The collected saliva is then introduced into a tube. This tube is sent to a clear lab, and the deuterium is an isotope of hydrogen, is measured through cavity ring down laser microscopy, spectroscopy, sorry. And that value is then uploaded into a portal and color coded into a report that is delivered to the patient.
Excellent. Now, Regina, you're also a practitioner, so you're consulting with individuals. Help us understand why this is such an important feature to have. Why should people know what the deuterium is? And then more importantly, what kind of improvements are you seeing when people go through deuterium lowering protocols?
Well, to answer that question, I actually would like to use myself as an example. When you have a perfect health and you do everything, many of us, or even searching for answers, me, for example, I had something that was holding me back. And with everything I was doing, I couldn't really understand what that is. When deuterium came in play and I measured my own deuterium, it turned out to be pretty much the highest we've ever measured, which made no sense to me. But once I put two and two together, I realized the importance of deuterium, especially after I depleted, because it was almost a breakthrough in my own health. And ever since, I dedicate myself to figure out what is it, how does it play the role, and why is it important for me to know where I am. And automatically it translated, and it helped a lot of people that I work with. And what that is, because it's directly connected to mitochondrial function. Your mitochondrial function improvement depends on the hydrogen that it uses, and light hydrogen, which is opposite of deuterium, is turning out for me in my own practice is one of the most valuable markers that you have to know and follow, because as you will deplete that deuterium, you will notice the tremendous improvement in person's health, and it's undeniably in every direction.
Regina, that was fascinating information, and I think after doctors learn this, they'll want to implement this. great example that you talked about yourself. Now, you see on the screen here your very first test and how high that was. Now, help us understand what you did to bring that down, and then we'll look at where you are today.
Well, that's what we pretty much do for everyone. I start depleting it using water, and that gave me that was pretty much, I would say, the central thing to in deuterium depletion. And of course, you have to adjust your diet. My diet at that time was almost perfect, but of course, making a few changes like cutting an amount of fruits that I was eating and incorporating a little bit more fat in the diet. Those corrections were made for me. And of course, you have to work with person individually and adjust that. But for me, just drinking water and sweating, those two was dramatic, great dramatic improvement.
Okay, and now we see on the screen where you are today. And how much better do you feel today now that you brought your deuterium from those high levels to where they are today?
You know, I'm Russian, so I always say I don't make things up, and I don't give compliments. And it's kind of funny because when I'm going to say this, it's not exaggeration. It's a true fact. The moment I deplete deuterium, I felt like it's almost like you have a wings behind your back, because it's not that you feel that you're superwoman. It's just everything is easier. If you go up in the hill, you can go twice further. If you work out, you can work out twice longer. During the day, I didn't feel that I need to take maybe a quick nap, or things like that. It's a directly tied to energy production. Well, and of course my brain. I start remembering things clearer, or things that I would have to think about start popping in my head easier. So it's all over. It's amazing feeling of youth, more youthful me. And of course, if you dig deeper, all my markers, a lot of my biomarkers improved as well.
Great. Now let's talk about how the doctor does this. You have a website where they order online. Philippe, walk us through that very briefly. They go to your website, they order the kit, and then what happens?
So they order the kits. They can have the kits in their practice, or they can order the kits one by one in your website. Well, the most things at the beginning is to register your test, and it's important because we need to know your age, your weight, your zip code. It turns out it's quite important. Whether or not you exercise or not, how much water, total water you drink a day. If you are on deuterium depleted water or not, there are several options: 10 ppm, 25 ppm of deuterium depleted water. And then, so all this information is crucial because it's going to help us understand and collect data and understand the rate of depletion. And I'm going to say one thing is, we started our deuterium depletion journey together, Regina and I, and we almost scored, pretty high. Regina much higher than me. And I was able to deplete my deuterium much faster than she did. And we still try to understand why.
Unfair.
It's unfair, and it has to do with, so that's why we are offering this test. Data is important for us because we want to track not only the patient, we want to provide that information to the physician. We also want to provide them the guideline that we've developed to help them give a consultation to their patient on how to improve. And so that's what we do.
Absolutely. So after you get the report, you also give recommendations that the doctor can go over with their patient or client. Now let's wrap up by saying, how does this benefit the doctor? They can get some revenue from selling. They can get some revenue by referring the patient to the various products you have, and then also, just very briefly, tell us about the products that you recommend that can be purchased on your website.
Sure. Thank you very much. So for a physician, we offer a transfer price for deuterium is over 20% less than the retail price. We give them training. We give them the tools they need to help their patient. That's an opportunity for them to do a consultation with their patient. we provide the data. The data is not only a report, but it's also a dashboard. Remember, Deuterium, what I really like about Deuterium is an actionable test. So it's an actionable, so you can do something about it. It can decrease your level of deuterium. Almost 100% of the patients that have been on our deuterium depletion program lower the deuterium level at a different rate. So it depends on how much hydration and how low in deuterium that ration is. We offer two types of products. We have pure hydration product we recommend, and as I said, 10 ppm, 25 ppm, they have different costs. And then we also have a drink that has low deuterium content, but also key amino acid, and it's charged. And Regina can talk to you about it. It's a phenomenal drink, and it really helps hydrate yourself and your cells, especially after exercise. So, yeah.
Okay, tell us briefly about the drink that hydrates and has the amino acids.
So the drink is, I love this drink. I love the names. I love when you take a drink in your hand and it represents what it is that it delivers. And that drink has been designed because the purpose of it is to hydrate and feed at the cellular level. When we introduced that first, it was extremely, I was scared because it does have stevia in it. Stevia it's very important to cover up the taste of protein because it's a little bitter. And when you do it with stevia, I was afraid that somebody might have an issue with that. What we're learning, people love this drink. They feel extremely energized after. We charge that drink with frequency. It's I don't know, we put 12 hours of frequencies in it, and it's a full range of energy and love and, all the positive. And it turning out to be something that people really, truly, truly love. And even I surprised because, the taste I was so worried about, and it turned out to be not a problem at all. So after you drink that,
Cool.
drink it very cold, what everybody kind of experience is increase in energy, and they're not hungry because it does have a protein that kind of almost like a breakfast or after exercise, quick meal, that type of stuff. And like I said, we have great success with it. So.
Okay, well, very good. So let me just summarize everything here if I can. As we've learned from Stephanie Seneff and from you, it's very important that we keep deuterium levels down. You've now put together a program that the doctor can very easily measure it, makes it easy. The doctor can make a little bit of money by selling it. It's going to make whatever other protocols he or she is doing more effective. And so what I encourage everyone to do is you folks have a virtual booth here at the conference. Come and talk to you. And then also everyone will get notified when we're doing a webinar, which will be an hour and a half, where we can get into a lot more detail and answer more questions. And coming in the future, the doctors might be able to order this kit in the software, in our software that we use for analyzing the DNA. And then long term, we're actually be doing some research to see if there's some relationships between genetic weakness in those with higher levels of deuterium or more difficulty in removing it. Watch for webinars when we do that in the future. So Philippe and Regina, thank you so much for being with us. And final word before we end this interview.
Well, I would like to add one thing that I heard from a friend that I already was completely on the same line. He said to me, and he's a scientist, he said, Regina, deuterium, the knowledge of deuterium, depletion of deuterium is the future of medicine. And I have to say, I totally agree, because what it does and the impact it makes on body is unprecedented. And
can I say something?
Of course.
So I've been in the healthcare business for 20 years and doing a lot of testing, monitoring, and my frustration is we never address prevention and controlling inflammation and improving mitochondrial function in the traditional, healthcare services.
As much as we should.
As much as we should. And now I am well today. I'm so energized and excited because we now have developed a batteries of tests and solution that really help optimize mitochondria function, which I learned is about key to any chronic disease. And we have an actionable test. It's very precise. We can track the patient, and we have great product that actually help the patient get better.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being with us. And again, I encourage everyone to talk to you in the virtual booth you have, or contact you after the conference.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.